Wait. No, I think it's okay. Hello, my Teacher King family. If you can't hear me, let me know, but I think we're okay. So how is everybody today? Can you hear me? I'm going to test it myself. Sometimes it comes up all white, and I worry I can't be heard. And let's see if I'm being heard. How to hear myself. Anyway, let me know if you can't hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Very good. Thank you. Sometimes when it comes up all white, all the buttons are white on the bottom. For some reason, it doesn't here, but it sounds fine. Anyway, have a happy Sunday. Hope all is well. I am fine. It was hard getting to sleep yesterday. Just a second. Sometimes if you have, I had one of those pops from the gas stations. It was a weird day yesterday, so I had like a pizza which I never had, and the pop that I never have. Like it was zero, like Coke Zero, which I bought it because I didn't think it had caffeine in it, and I'm gonna see if it does. Anyway, it kept me out. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I normally sound asleep, and I couldn't get to sleep. All right. So I had a decent day in baseball yesterday, plus 4 units. It was a weird day. I split my 3 units. The St. Louis over 7.5 won. The Dodgers under 8.5 lost, which I couldn't believe. The Yankees over 8.5, we got in, and Tampa lost. So we went 2-2 in our 3 units. So if we go through it, we lost Detroit. We won St. Louis over 7.5. We lost Arizona. We won the Phillies. We lost Tampa. We won Cincinnati over. We lost Texas. We won the White Sox. We won the Yankees over. We won Boston under. We won Seattle over. And we lost the Dodgers under. And I looked at the box score for the Dodgers. And I go, how did they hit Soriano for so much? Well, they didn't. He gave up 1 hit in 6 innings and gave up 6 runs, giving up 1 hit, and he had a few walks. I don't understand it. And it wasn't like a grand slam. So I don't understand is how they scored their runs. And then we still had it under. It was like 6 going into the 8th or 9th inning. And then they gave up 10 runs. What was the final? It was 15-2, but it was 5-2 in like the 8th inning. I've never seen a box score like this. So let's look at the box score. It's really unbelievable. It, it's 2-0 Calif. Or no, it's 1-0 Dodgers. Then it goes 6-0 Dodgers, 6-2, and then they get 9 runs in the eighth and ninth, and 4 runs in the eighth, 5 runs in the ninth. So our guy didn't give up anything. Roblisky gives up 7 hits and 2 runs. He had a good ERA, so that's what I expected. But when I look at California, Soriano, 5 1/3 innings, pitches 92 pitches, 1 hit, 6 runs, 6 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 6 walks. It's almost not real how you give up 6 runs on 1 hit. Was there a lot of errors? Let's see. Well, they were not 6 runs, 6 earned runs. I've never seen a box score. How could they give up? Was there errors? No, I don't see errors. This makes zero sense that he gave up 1 hit and gives up 6 runs. He did have 6 walks, so really 1 hit maybe is 7, but still to drive in the runs, it's crazy. And that's the problem. You pick the game exactly right. The guy gives up 1 hit, but he walks 6 guys. So there was that 5-run inning in the sixth. Otherwise, you got a 2-1 game, which is exactly what I thought. And California only scored 2 runs, which is exactly what I thought. But the Dodgers getting 9 runs in the eighth and ninth inning. Again, this is the problem with baseball. You've got the starter, and he's killing them. But then you bring in the reliever, and he gives up 4 runs, and then another one gives up 5 runs. So you give up 9 runs in 2 innings. Like, what the fuck is that all about? So anyway, that's what's going on yesterday. So we lost Detroit. I thought, why didn't I go under? Because Detroit can't hit. And Casey Mize pitched well, which I didn't think he pitched that well coming off of injury. I thought he'd go 3 or 4 innings. He pitched 6th and shut him out. And I thought, well, Detroit will win in the 9th or the 8th, and like they usually do, and nothing. They just choke. They stink. The pitcher, I'm watching the Toronto pitcher pitch. It was on TV where I was on my bike before I go swimming. And the guy just grooves the pitch to a couple of the Detroit batters. He just puts it right over, and they get a single on it. And then later on, he starts throwing curveballs. I said, why didn't you do that against these other guys? I hate when they just throw the ball right down the middle and the guys hit it. I mean, it's crazy. So today we got basketball. No basketball. Yesterday, talked about today. There's only the Detroit -4.5, which I have no fucking idea. I'm not betting it. I would say I don't even know what to say. I mean, Detroit, even the total is 205. Even there, I don't know what to do. You don't know what teams are showing up. I don't know if Detroit -4.5 is going to win. They lost game 5 at home, blowing a 9-point lead, and then they blow out in game 6 at Cleveland, which is totally ridiculous. The question is, why didn't you do that in game 5? So game 5 comes, and you have the chance to blow them out, and and lose in Cleveland and win game 7. And no, they blow a 9-point lead and lose. So then you're thinking, well, okay, this team's a bunch of chokers. They're not very good. And then what happens is they go to Cleveland where they should lose, and they win by 15. Why didn't they win by 15 on Thursday? When the series was tied 2-2. So now it's 3-3. So now the Pistons look like when their backs are against the wall, they do well. But when they're winning and the pressure's on them, they don't do well. So I almost think Cleveland at 4.5 is the play. But I'm not betting it. I do not feel comfortable. I do not. Detroit does not seem to be a very good team. Cleveland has struggled on the road. Even when they won game 5, they were down 9 with 3 minutes left. So I really don't trust them. To get blown out at home, I certainly can't trust them. So I'm going to take Detroit -4.5. I'm not betting it. It won't be a bet. I just think at home they get the win. And I don't know why. I don't know how good or bad they are. So we're not really betting today's games. So let's look at baseball. And we see what happened yesterday. Well, let's go through the scores yesterday just to get a feel. So Toronto wins 2-1. Detroit no hitting, so maybe we're looking Detroit under. We'll see the pitchers. St. Louis wins 4-2. Kansas City doesn't hit. Colorado wins 4-2. I don't get that at all. Arizona, you think they hit, and they don't hit it, and Colorado, it's at Colorado, a 4-2 score with a total of 11 was really surprising. Washington 13, Baltimore 3. We didn't play. We wanted to see it. This will be an over today. Washington can hit. Baltimore can hit. Philly wins 6-0. That was a big 3-unit play with Luzardio on the mound, a really good pitcher. No, I bet him for 2 units. I thought I bet him for 3. Well, I bet him for 2. But Philly looks like Bryce Harper's hitting and Schwarberg's hitting. Miami 10, Tampa 5. This surprised me. Tampa had a good pitcher on the mound. Miami had nobody. And these are the really troubling analysis is the bullpen day. The Tigers had bullpen day. And you don't know what to expect. You're thinking, so the pitcher's going 2 innings, and then you're going to have 6, 7 pitchers pitch, and they're all going to be shut out. I mean, this is what is amazing. Or the other team is bad. Now, I was watching the Yankees and the Mets. I just wanted to get a flavor for them. So I watched the game, most of it. And I sweated it out. That was our lock going New York over 8.5. And I'm sweating it out. And then they start scoring. And then it's, 3-2. Then it goes 5-3, the METSs. And I need one more run. And the Yankees get the bases loaded and nobody out. And then they strike out 2 guys and a ground out. Then the next inning, they finally score. And it goes, I believe, 6-3 or 5-4, whatever. It was a 9. And like we do in football, the games, that's all you're rooting for is get over. And it's always stuck right where it's, the number's 50, they'll be at 49 and you need 50. And then they finally score 2 touchdowns at the end. So finally the Yankees just choked. They had base loaded, nobody out, strikeout, ground out. You couldn't hit the ball. This is the problem with baseball now. There's so many bad players. So listen to the broadcast. John Smoltz is on the broadcast. And John Smoltz is like us. He thinks this analytics sucks. So the guy asked John Smoltz, well, what's going on? What's wrong with the league? And he says, the pitchers aren't ready. They're all throwing too hard, which hurts their arms. Obviously, this 100 pitch count doesn't work. Obviously, the 5-8 doesn't work. They're throwing too hard. They don't need to. And then he says, and most of the problem is these pitchers aren't ready. The pitchers should pitch so many innings in the minor leagues to get ready for major league, and they're not. They're calling them up too quick. Does that remind you of football? CJ Stroud and this Mendoza and all these other players who start right away, Anthony Richardson, and they're not ready. That's why you see Darnold and even Humpty Dumpty who was on the Giants, Daniel Jones. That's why they're better a little bit on these new teams. They've already played 4 or 5 years, and they kind of have been watching, and then they get it. They should not. You can't throw the guy in to start. It's like starting a new job, and well, you figure it out. Well, I gotta understand what's going on. I can't problem solve. I don't understand the problem. And so he said that the hitters aren't getting enough at bats in the minor leagues, and the pitchers aren't getting enough innings. So you need to build up. You need to get experience before you can get thrown into the major leagues. And he says it's just not there. So the pitching, and they're all getting hurt. They're all throwing too hard. And it's exactly what I say. You have very few major leaguers in Major League Baseball. Unfortunately, you've brought up a lot of minor leaguers who aren't ready, and that's why when I see a bullpen day, you don't have five Major League bullpen pitchers in the bullpen. What are you doing? So yeah, I like John Small. He said that before, where he thinks they're throwing too hard, and you don't need to. He didn't throw 100 miles an hour. He was a great reliever. Gray Maddox, I think, threw 92, 93, but he could locate the ball on the black, and the other guy, Glavin. I mean, these were, they hit the paint all the time, and off it goes. Then he said another problem with the there's more people taking. He said the problem is with this replay thing, this digital, where's the ball and the strike, is the ball, 99% of the ball is high, but that little 1% hits the top of the frame and it's a strike. But it really isn't a strike because the ball is really high, except for this little tiny thing. And they're being overturned and called strikes. He says, those aren't strikes. The pitch is too high. I mean, you've got to call the whole, it's like the whole ball, right? The whole ball's high. This little tiny thing, or it's outside or inside, and the whole ball's outside except for this little tiny thing. He says it's ridiculous. So it's making you're getting more strikeouts because these are balls that are being called strikes because this little tiny thing hits the line, which you don't even know if it's accurate or not. So he said that's another big problem in baseball is this instant replay, where the ball is really a ball but being called a strike. So the hitters have to be a little more aggressive, and the Tigers have a problem because they all go up looking for walks, and now that's why they can't hit, because they're calling these balls strikes because they're right on the edge. And that's it. All right. Miami 10, Tampa 5. I think there was a big inning. And again, you're getting hurt in the 8th or 9th innings where the pitcher comes in and it's a reliever with the 6 ERA. And for some reason, this is where the manager is clueless. He doesn't understand the situation. So he pitches a guy in the 8th inning and he goes 1, 2, 3, no runs, no hits, no errors. But he doesn't pitch him in the 10th. Or in the 9th, or he maybe does it in the 7th. He doesn't pitch him in the 8th. The guy's hot. 1, 2, 3. He's throwing strikes. Put him out there another inning. No. You can only go one inning. I need him for tomorrow. But then the pitcher you bring in has a 6 ERA, and you lose the game. So what was the point of saving the guy if you lose the game with the other guy? Very stupid managing. Too many lefty righties. Although I noticed yesterday in the Mets-Yankee game, they did not pinch hit the lefties. So the Yankees have all these left-handed hitters, and the Mets had Peterson, who's a lefty, and then they went to – so they start off with a reliever for 2 innings. Then they bring in Peterson. He pitches 3 or 4 innings, pitches okay, and then they start bringing in – and the Yankees have 4 or 5 lefties, and they keep them in. And the bullpen comes in a lefty, and they don't just pinch hit for the righty just because there's a lefty on the mound. The lefties hit the lefties okay. It's not like the ball comes over the plate, they can hit them. So the Tigers would have been, I got to pinch hit him and him. And it really fucks with the guy's mind, because if I'm up and you pinch hit for me, we're not friends anymore, me and the manager. You just fuck me. You say I can't hit a righty or I can't hit a lefty. You have no confidence in me. Go fuck yourself. And that's how I would take it. I can hit the guy. Just trust me. And you don't trust me, then there's a problem. All right. Cleveland 7, Cincinnati 4. We knew it would be a high-scoring game. We just didn't know who would win, nor did we care. And that's why we bet the overs. And that was Cincinnati over 8.5. That was one of those that there was 1 or 2 that I didn't understand the total. I think it was Boston and Seattle where we went over. Boston we went under, and then Seattle we went over, and we said we don't understand the pitching. there's worse pitchers in the Seattle game, and it went over. And why do you have the same 7.5? Houston 4, Texas 1. I believe this was DeGrom. We had Texas to win. Houston with the bad pitcher, and Texas loses 4-1. And it's again averages. The White Sox 8, the Cubbies 3. We do have a big one there. We had the White Sox. We played the White Sox, and they actually won 8-3. But we could have played them over also. I think the over was 8.5. Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't play the over. I must have really liked the White Sox pitcher. Milwaukee 2, Minnesota 1. We did not play this. We have no idea. And here it's a low-scoring game, which you have no idea. Again, I don't know. Sometimes they hit a lot, and sometimes they don't. That's what we're looking for, the teams that hit a lot that we can rely on versus the teams that don't. The JETS is 6, the Yankees 3. Total was 8.5. The score was 9. It's an over. I wouldn't have bet the Mets in the game because they started with their bullpen. So the real starters, Peterson, comes in the third inning. Well, how do you bet that? But that's why we bet it over. We thought the Yankees would score more than 3, and they should have scored 7 or 8, and they had the bases loaded. But we have it over 8.5, and that was our lock, 3 units. W. Boston 3, Atlanta 2, under 7.5. We have the game under 2 good pitchers. And then we get San Diego, Seattle. The over in this game was 7, and I nailed it because the pitching sucked, and that was the score. San Diego 7, Seattle 4. How is the over 7? It made no sense with these bad pitchers. This over should have been 9, and that's where we take advantage of our line versus Vegas line. We do it in football all the time. I make my own lines, what I believe the line should be. And then you see, like here, this line should have been 8.5 or so. So because it was only 7, we jumped on the over. Should have been a lock. Okay, I don't know how they're hitting, but San Diego and Seattle is hitting. And the pitchers were not good, and that was an easy one. That was the easiest one on the board. And then the Dodgers 15-2. The total on the game was 8.5, which I thought was high considering Soriano. And he really, I've never seen anything like it. 1 hit. He gives up 6 hits. No, he gives up 1 hit, 6 runs, all earned, and 6 walks. How the fuck do you do that? So I don't know what how the pitches were called or what, but you got a guy with a 1.5 ERA and he gives up 6 walks. But the ironic part is we nailed the game. They only got 1 hit on him. 9 of the runs came in the 8th and 9th, the 8th and 9th inning. They got 9 runs. So it's really 6-2. It's over 8.5. We win. So it's really frustrating. And he pitched a lot of pitches. So the Dodgers, and this is the other part of the game we have to really adjust to. These guys the Tigers, they just go up looking for walks. They don't go up to hit. They go up looking for walks. They foul the ball. Either that or they're really bad hitters and they can't hit the ball. So they kind of just take a half swing to foul the ball off. I love it. They try to get the starter out of the game. Well, what good's that going to do? You can't hit anyway. Well, you do what that Torkelson does. No RBIs. He gets up, guy on first. I think it was the 8th or not, but I think it's the 8th. It's a tie game, and he gets a single. You need him to hit a home run, then he gets a single. So it's pretty pathetic. And our last game, the 49ers win 6-4 with John Brody. I was a little impressed. Didn't play the game. The total on the game was 9.5. That's why I didn't play it. They sneak in with 10. Oakland was favored, so they had the better pitcher. And that was it. So that was yesterday. So the Detroit-Toronto game, superficially, I'm going to look at it under, but we'll see. It's 11:30, and the game start at 12:15, so we got 45 minutes. Miami-Tampa, this was high scoring yesterday. Miami beat a good pitcher of Tampa. We got Tampa minus 139 and 7. We got E. Perez 498 against Rasmussen 321. There should be runs, and see here again. I mean, the total is 7, right? But look at the ERAs 5 and 3-2-1. You had a high scoring game yesterday. Why is the total 7? So this is a game that if we analyze it and we problem solve it, it doesn't make sense. So we're going Miami over 7. We'll go 2 units. And I looked at the box scores and they got good hitting on it. I'm going to write them down today. Before I do this, I want to look at the streaks, if I may. So let's see. Now I'm going to go 4 and over. And on Sunday they end a lot, but we'll see. The Cubbies have been hot twice. They had 10-game hit streaks. Milwaukee, we won a ton on. They had a 17-game win streak last year. And we pick them up at like 4, so we won 12, 13 times. Nothing there. 6-game losing streak, KC. So you get teams like the Tigers. They win a game, they lose a game. They win a game, they lose a game. And then we've got 5-game losing streak, California. Now, if you notice, I did not bet California even with Soriano because the Dodgers had a 2.0 pitcher. That's why I bet the under. And it was 2.0. The under was there until the 8th inning. And again, now they bring in a reliever with the 6 ERA. What can we do? And the 8th and the 9th, they gave up 4 and 5 runs. I mean, hard to understand the manager going with those guys. All right, National League, a 3-game win streak we don't care about. 2 more 3-game win streaks we don't care about. 4-game winning streak, the Dodgers. And the Dodgers are playing California today. All right, so we bet against KC and we take the Dodgers is basically what the streaks are telling us. Do we stick with the streaks? We'll see. All right, next game, Philly at Pitt. Phillies come alive, but they got to face Mr. Skenes. Oh, and what a beautiful game. Pitt's not hitting against Philly. You got Pitt minus 120, Skenes, and a 7 total. But when we look at the pitchers, Zach Wheeler, 262 against Skenes, 198. This is an under game, and we're going to make this a lock under Philly under 7, and we'll go 3 units. Should go 5 units, but we'll go 3. Phillies won the first 2. They've shut them out. Pitt's not hitting. Pitt has good hitting. You're not hitting Skenes. Now, the key to this game is the 8th and 9th innings. Skenes will be pulled after 7, and Zach Wheeler probably goes 6 or 7. The idea of the hitters now is to foul the ball off and get the pitch count up to get the starter out. So Philly's going to hit a bunch of foul balls to get Skenes out. And then Pitt's going to do it with Zach Wheeler. So now it comes down to the bullpen. Who do the Pirates have in the 8th and 9th inning who are good, who are going to keep the 1-0 lead? And Philly, who do they have that'll keep the thing down? So that's what we're looking at. Off the setup, Skenes and Wheeler, you're going to get 1 run. So you're going to get 1 run through 7, and you just hope the other runs. It's hard to score in baseball. It's really hard to hit the ball if you have any pitchers. Now, if you have the guy like the Mets guy throwing the ball, or the Toronto guy throwing the ball right down the middle, my mother could hit that. I mean, that's not Major League Baseball, but the little sliders and curves are what you need. I love how they keep changing names. It's not the IR anymore, injured reserve. It's the IL. It's not a curveball anymore. It's a sweeper. Like, why did they change the names? This is a socialist thing. That's a socialist do because they don't want history. That's why the NFL went to the line to game. I was watching the Dallas, Minnesota 1977 playoff game, and the winner plays Denver in the Super Bowl. And you don't hear any line to games. And it was just before John Madden did it because he was still coaching. They lost to Denver in that playoff game. and I'm sure he was coaching. I don't remember when he retired. I think 78 or something. Anyway, um, he wasn't on the broadcast. You never heard him say line to gain once. And by the way, fourth downs, they actually punted and they pinned Minnesota back. I think the first three times they had the ball was inside their 15. Amazing strategy. Let's see if we can pin the team. And nobody went 4th and 1 at the. And I think Minnesota, maybe it was Dallas. They had the ball at the 38, 40-yard line, and they punted because back then you couldn't kick 50-yard field goals. I don't know what's happened that everybody can kick 60-yard field goals, and you're watching in the 70s and 80s, and they can't kick. I watched the 83 game, the Redskins 49ers, great game. Mosley missed 4 field goals, and the San Francisco kicker was short on a 45-yard field goal. So it's funny how the game's changed. But anyway, no line to gain, no instant replay, no review of the calls. It was wonderful to watch. The game just moves, and that's what it should do. And this is why you're killing it with these instant. All the stoppages in the game hurt the game because you don't want to sit there for 5 minutes watching commercials that you don't want to watch. You're not going to buy the product because it's interfering with the game anyway. It more pisses you off if you see a commercial during Taco Bell. Yeah, I ain't running a Taco Bell. That isn't real food. Anyway, so Scanes and Wheeler, we should get a 0 for at least the first 7 innings. It should be a 1-0 game, maybe a 2-0. Schwarber hits a home run. I don't know. Scanes will be careful, but that's where it is. Scanes made a comment. I think it was being facetious. He says, "I'm too stupid to call my own pitches," meaning he should be calling his own pitches. I'm sure he's very capable of doing that. He's the best. He's the Cy Young pitcher. He's the best pitcher in the league. Skubal. I would trade Skubal and anybody they want on the team for Scanes. My first round pick, because there's very few Scaneses out there, as we can see. All right. Boston and Atlanta. And what did we get? Boston under. So it was a low scoring game yesterday. Atlanta minus 146, 8.5. So we did take Philly under 7 for 3 units. Atlanta minus 146, 8.5. Bello with the 9.36 for Boston. This guy sucks. Grant Holmes for Atlanta, 4.39. This should be a high scoring game. 8.5 seems low, so we're gonna go over in this game. Atlanta over 8.5, and we'll go 2 units. Again, the pitching's bad. I don't know that they have bullpens. This should be high scoring hitting these pitchers. Even if they only pitch 4 or 5 innings, we should be able to get 7, 8 runs there. And then it's up to the bullpen. And and they're not all aces in the bullpen, so this should be hittable. But again, the stats, I seen a guy with a 10 ERA and he goes 1, 2, 3, and I see a guy with a 0 ERA give up 2 runs. So again, they're just averages, but they're the best we have to figure out the pitchers. Like here, we assume Bello is going to give up 5 runs. We assume Holmes will give up 4 runs. We only need 8.5. There's our 9. I think it's a very low number there. But again, they're looking at the offense, which you shouldn't look at because the offense varies against the pitcher. So against Holmes, if you looked at Philadelphia, against Scanes, they might hit 6 runs a game, but not against Scanes. They're going to get shut out. So that the pitcher's the dominant variable. Baltimore, Washington, high scoring game. And again, it's a high number. It's 10. Baltimore minus 117 and 10. We got Young with the 415 against Lovelady. Lovelady? Sound like Dr. Loveless from the Wild West. A 0. Who the fuck is Richard Lovelady? Oh my God. He's 30 years old from Georgia. Went to Kennesaw State. I thought they only did football there. And this guy is a bullpen guy. Yeah, he goes 2/3 of an inning. So this guy's a joke. So the question is, who are they going to bring in? Who's going to be the starter? So this guy's 1 inning, this Lovelady, and against Young. So I'm not going to bet it, but I'm going to say Baltimore over 10. They played high scoring, but we won't play the game. Uh, I don't know who Washington's going to put in if he's a 6 ERA. I was like yesterday, the Yankees or the Mets bring in Peterson. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, what's his ERA? I got a little worried. We fortunately got to the 9, but I was worried. Like, well, wait a minute, I'm betting that Bellagio is pitching and he stinks, and then I get uh, what's his name? All right, Yankees and Mets again. The Mets are minus 115, 8.5 again. Rodriguez, 5.62 for the Yanks. The Mets, Peralta, 3.12. And I'm going over again. NYY over 8.5, but it's only going to be 2 units. The Mets were hitting yesterday. They should hit this Rodriguez with the 5.62. They should put up 5. The Yankees should get, at least 3. So 5-3 is 8. So I need one more run. Peralta's a righty, and the Yankees have a lot of lefties. So I think this goes probably over 10 here. Cincy Cleveland, another over game and another weak spread. We're going to go Cincy over 8.5. And I haven't told you the pitchers yet. All right. Cleveland minus 153, 8.5. We got Brady Singer, 5.79 for Cincy. Cleveland's going to have a big day against Gus Williams from the Seattle Seahawks, the guard. 3.76 ERA. And you only got 8.5. This should be 10, right? But you only got 8.5. So we will take advantage of that. We will do what we do best. Find a bad spread and bet the shit out of it. So we'll go 2 units. Probably should be 3. Toronto and Detroit played a 2-1 game yesterday. Toronto is 121, 7.5. We got Gausman, who I like, 388. Flaherty, who sucks. So we're going to bet Toronto here. And it's minus 121 for 2 units. Now, why aren't we betting the under? Because Joe Flaherty is terrible, 5.84 ERA. Toronto should get some runs. Detroit can't hit. Gausman's very good. I think 7.5. It's a low number, but they can hit. So Toronto probably, puts up 4 or 5. Detroit, who knows? They're going to be looking for walks again, trying to get Gausman out. So I like Toronto minus. I think Toronto wins with Gausman. It's just Flaherty gives you 5 innings. And then the thing that the managers do that are so bad, so the guy's not pitching well, but he leaves him in to chew up innings because my bullpen's spent because I'm an idiot and I keep pitching all these guys 1 inning. And by Sunday, I can't use them because they can't pitch. Oh, no, they can't pitch in 2 consecutive games. These are big leaguers. No, they can't do that. Will ruin their arms. Oh, really? Okay. So you'll see that they'll leave the guy in, even though he's not good because of his because I can't go to the bullpen. It's the 4th inning. The guy's given up 5 runs, should be out of the game, but I can't take him out. There was that the other day. The guy gave up 8 runs in the 8th or 9th inning. No, it's the 10th inning. It was a game we had. We had it under, and we're winning the under, and then it goes to the 10th inning, and he gave up to 8 runs. And it was one pitcher, and he pitched 1 inning and gave up 8 runs. And you're like, what kind of manager? If you see the guy's not right, you get him out. Nope, not these managers. I need you to pitch 1 inning, 1 inning only, but the whole inning. Oh, but I don't have my control. I'm walking. My fastball, my arm's sore. We need you to pitch an inning. What? You've got the dumbest managers in the world. All these guys will be fired soon. It reminds me of Comax. We know Comax is bullshit. And we know the dollar is worthless. And we know Comax is just paper options. 4 million tons of options in gold and 200,000 tons. So we know it's bullshit. And eventually the truth gets out and it blows up and goes away. And that's kind of correlates to baseball. Well, we need you to throw an inning, and he gives up 8 runs, and he should be out of the game after 2 or 3 hitters, and it's clear a guy hits a single and a guy hits a single. You probably need to get him out. He doesn't have his stuff, but you leave him in because I need you to pitch an inning. And that's what they do with the starters. Sorry, you got to go 5 today. I given up 6 runs in 2 innings. Get me the fuck out. And then they keep pitching them because they need them to eat up innings. This is the stupidest. I don't know who's stupider, the managers in baseball, the coaches in football, or the managers or the coaches in basketball. I don't know who's dumber. They're all stupid. They live with this analytics that doesn't work. It's like if somebody tells you to go over there and somebody will meet you and you wait and nobody meets you. And you go there because somebody told you that you're going to get mad, but you don't get mad. And that's what use analytics. Go for it on 4th down. And then they go and they keep losing and then they get fired. Well, you got fired because you lost because you kept going on 4th and 1 and 4th and 2 instead of punting the ball inside the 10 and making them do that. Like, you're a fucking idiot. You're not a coach. These baseball coaches are not good coaches. They're terrible coaches. Well, I can pitch Johnny for an inning and Billy for an inning. Oh no, he can't go 2 innings. And he pitched yesterday. I can't pitch him today. These are professional athletes. You can pitch them 4 or 5 days in a row. Raleigh Fingers, Dennis Eckersley, they were there every fucking day. You'd pitch an inning. What are you talking about? You can't. These are pros. They can, if they can't handle it, get people who can. But so it's the same thing. It's the same bullshit. All right. So we're taking Toronto because Flaherty stinks, and we don't want to go under with Flaherty. And Detroit can't hit, so it's really an under game. But Flaherty's so bad, so we'll just take Toronto 2 units. Texas and Houston. Texas minus 113, 8. Evaldi 4-2-1 against Jack Lambert 279. Let's look at this Evaldi. I think he stinks, but then he starts pitching well. And he's from Texas. He's 36. He's an older guy. Game logs. They lose 8-3, they win 3-2. They win 8-1, they lose 7-3, they lose 8-1, they win 6-1, they win 3-0. He goes 4 innings twice, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8. He has a bad game. He gives up 6 runs on 6 hits to Oakland. Then he gives up 7 innings, 4 hits and no runs to the Yankees. And then 8 innings, 3 hits and 1 run to the Yankees. Seattle gives up 8 hits and 4 runs in 5 innings. And in the beginning, Philly and Baltimore got 8 hits and 6 runs on them. So except for the Yankees and who is this in Oakland once, he's not that strong. So his ERA is correct. Let's see who Jack Lambert is. 2.79. California. So he started. He's pitched 5 games. 5, 6, 4, 7, 7. He gave up 6 hits, 3 runs last game. 3 hits, no runs. The other game, 2 hits, 2 runs. In 4 innings, so he's all over the place. So I don't smell his 2.79. Texas doesn't hit that well. Altuve's out for Houston. He got hurt. I guess he had a weird swing yesterday, so they gave him an MRI. I don't know what that means. Probably needed some water. Most of our problems are from dehydration, not enough water. That's how you get ulcers. Your stomach has a lot of acid, and as long as you drink water, right on cue, it neutralizes your stomach and gets rid of the ulcers. It's funny how most things are easily taken care of with water. Cut out the sugar, cut out the carbs. All right, so Texas minus 120 and 8. Evaldi and Lambert. I'm not touching this game. Altuve, I don't know if he's out or not. He just had an MRI. He could be playing. So I don't know. Probably a low scoring game, but it's hard with Evaldi. The Cubbies and the White Sox. Who's bothering me? Do I want to have a board game night soon? It doesn't even say hi, Howard, right? It just says, would you like to have a board game? All right. Cubbies and the White Sox. White Sox won big yesterday. We had them. Cubbies minus 125 and 9. We got Ray for the Cubbies with the 4.80 against Fetty for the White Sox at the 4.35. The total is 9. We're going to go over here. Over 9. We'll go 2 units. See, we problem solve each game, so it's not how many games I bet or how many locks I bet. It's is this a bettable game or not? And this two bad pitchers, two teams that can hit. Like that hitter on the White Sox, the guy's hitting home runs all over the place, so they're going to score. It's amazing when you get good hitters, all of a sudden you're a good team and you score a lot. White Sox are over 500, 23-22. All right, and the Cubs, they can hit. All right, so we'll go over 9. Milwaukee, Minnesota played a low scoring game yesterday. Milwaukee minus 131 and 8. We got Gasser, who has no ERA against Bradley Ober with a 3.46. Gasser's what, a bullpen guy or what? Hasn't pitched yet. He had a 6 ERA in one game last year, and he pitched 5 games with a 2.57 and 24. So this guy has been injured. I don't think he'll play that long. But he really doesn't have a 0 ERA. He really hasn't pitched. There's a big difference between this guy shuts everybody out and this guy has a very low, or he hasn't played. So I don't know. I don't like it. I'm going to lay off of the game. KC St. Louis. So this is our game to bet against KC. We want St. Louis. Let's see if it is. St. Louis 116 and 9. Kolick for KC 7.20 ERA against Palentine 4.50. So we will take St. Louis on the streak minus 116. So we'll go 3 units on this. Partly on the streak, partly Kolick with the 7.20, and then they're expecting a lot of runs. So we'll take St. Louis here. Arizona, Colorado. They played a 4-2 game yesterday. The total is 10.5. Arizona's minus 139. So Rocco with the 3.56 against Lorenzen with the 6.70. What should be a high-scoring game with Lorenzo on the mound. I'm going to pass. 10.5 is a bit much. Colorado has been showing they're playing lower-scoring games most of the time. The 49ers and the Raiders, again, we got Brody against Ken Stabler. We got Oakland minus 145, 9.5. So they think Stabler's going to be on. Hauser from Total Recall will pitch for Frisco, 5.79 against Springs, 4.22 in what should be an over. So we're going to go over. We'll take the Niners. They're hot. Over 9.5. But we'll just go 2 units because we think this 9.5 is a little bit much. I'm not confident that the Niners get enough hits. Oakland should, and it's in Oakland, so it should be a high-scoring game. Okay. The Dodgers in LA. This is an LA game, as LA's on a big streak and California's on a losing streak. So the plays LA. LA minus 129 and 9.5. This game's in California. Sasaki with a 6 ERA, Rodriguez with a 0 ERA, another guy who has he pitched this year? No games. See, it's not a 0 ERA. If he hasn't pitched, it's a nothing. There's a difference. Like I say, a 0 ERA, guy's pitched 4 games, hasn't let a run. And a guy who hasn't pitched does not have a 0 ERA. He doesn't have any ERA. Just leave it flat. We don't need to see 0 when it's not. Suzuki with the 6. So we're going to take the Dodgers minus 129, and we'll go 3 units here. And our last game, we got the Chargers at the Seahawks. The game's in Seattle. Seattle minus 156. We have no pitcher for San Diego, and we got George Kirby, 294 for Seattle. I assume it's a bullpen day. We'll go with Seattle here, 2 units, minus 156. Whoever the pitcher is, we got to go with Kirby anyway. And the 7.5, I would probably go over, but Kirby's a 294, so I'm not. So let's review. All right, we start off with Miami over 7, 2 units. Philly under 7, 3 units. Atlanta over 8.5, 2 units. Baltimore over 10. We're not playing. The number's too high. The Yankees over 8.5, 2 units. Cincinnati over 8.5, 2 units. Toronto, 2 units, minus 121. The White Sox over 9, 2 units. St. Louis minus 116, 3 units. The 49ers over 9.5, 2 units. The Dodgers minus 29, 3 units. And Seattle minus 150, 2 units. The 3 unit plays are the Dodgers, St. Louis, and those are streakers, and Philly under 7. Probably should also 3 unit Cincinnati, but I won't. But I think they'll probably win. And the Yankees we had over yesterday, and they did win. One quick tip on the avocado. You see how the seed is in there? You pick the seed out, and if this is yellow, then it's a good thing. It's kind of yellow, so it means it's fresh. If it's brown, it's dog doo-doo, and you don't want to buy it. A lot of them are already picked, so you just kind of feel it. If it's really soft, you don't want to buy it. Unless you're planning to eat it that day. So if you're going to go buy it, it's soft, you can go home and cut it and eat it. Anyway, that's your avocado tip for the day. So again, the basketball, I'm very torn. Detroit, psychotic team, blow a 9-point lead. If you're good, you don't blow 9-point leads. And then you go into Cleveland and win by 15, which makes no sense either. They should have lost game 6. But now the pressure's on Detroit. The series is tied and they're at home. So it's not, we're at Cleveland, there was no pressure. They could lose they're expected to lose. Backs against the wall. Cleveland really didn't need it because it wasn't an elimination game. So I just think that this is a double elimination being for both teams. So the better team will win, and I don't know who that is. Is Detroit the better team? Well, they had them. It was 2-2. So they won their first 2. They lost the 2 in Cleveland. Then they go to game 5 where they should have won at home to guarantee a game 7 at home, and they lose it. Not only that, but the way they lost it. They lost it on having a 9-point lead with 2 minutes left, and they can't do anything with it. And this is the problem with basketball. They don't get into the paint to draw the fouls, to kill a 9-0 run, and it's my team. I'm going to my star guard, Isaiah. We'll call him Isaiah Thomas. Drive the lane and get fouled, or get the ball to Lambert and get fouled. Where Lambert was very clutch. You could pass it to him and he'd hit the open jump shot. So you would drive and go to your favorite player, Vinnie Johnson or whatever, and get and stop the run, get up 11 and end the game. You never saw the Pistons blow a 9-0. You saw them blow against Larry Bird with a 1-point lead, but you never saw it. The whole thing was crazy. Isaiah never throws the ball in, shouldn't have thrown it in. He telegraphs, he looks right at Lambert, so Bird sees him looking at Lambert, and Bird runs over. It wasn't an easy play by Bird. Dennis Johnson sees what's happening, and he goes in for the layup. He's the outlet for Bird. But that's what you do. The good ones read the plays, right? That's what you do in poker. That is you read the play. And I would do that in football and baseball. I played football, but not until high school. Then I said, no, I don't want to break my legs. So in football, I could read the play, like judging by what was going on. The running back, they're going to hand the ball to the running back. And I would just jump into the backfield. They hand the ball to the running back, and I meet them. I read the play. You read the play in poker. You're going to go, you don't know the two cards, and you never know the two cards, and you never can trust the tell if it's a real tell or a fake tell. You can't trust that. So don't kid yourself there. So I'm so happy I got my glasses fixed. The lady was a bitch, so I probably won't go. I'll probably go to Costco for the thing. Anyway, so in poker, you're kind of reading, okay, this is what should happen. This is what I think. The guy wouldn't bet. He wouldn't bluff because I'm betting. The biggest way to stop a bluff is you bet. If I bet $30, again, in my $1, $2, $300 no limit game, I bet $30, $40, you're not going to bluff me because you know I told you I have a good hand. And so you're less likely to bluff it. Now, again, if I check, then you're more likely to bet against me. So I'm leaving myself open. So if I check, I expect him to bet. So if I got a big hand, I flop the full house, then I'm checking, and then I'm expecting a bet, and then I'm just going to call it. And that's what you got to be careful of, the smooth calls. But you're reading the game. You're reading what should happen. You're reading the player. So you're reading the play. I'm going to check. He's going to bet. I'm going to call. I'm going to check. He's going to bet. I'm going to call on the river. I'm going to bet. And then he's going to, who knows what he does. And we'll find out. But he thinks I'm weak, so he wants to bet me. Okay. So that's what happens there. And that's the whole point of it. And that's what you're looking at, right? So you're trying to read the play. And so that's what basketball is. Bird read the play because Isaiah showed him what he was doing. Had Isaiah looked down the court the other way to the Detroit basket, no, to the Boston basket, had Isaiah went like this, Bird would have went that way. But Isaiah went like this, which led Bird right to him. And Isaiah says, well, I've never normally do that. All Isaiah should have done, there was like 2 seconds left, was hit the guy and bounding him on the leg or something, and then the clock would have ran, or just thrown the ball all the way to the Boston basket into the crowd, and they would have done is they would have maybe intercepted the ball, and the game would have been over. So the correct play was throwing it towards the Boston basket, not under your own basket. And then then Isaiah would go, well, we learned we got to play 48 minutes. No, you just have to hit your head out of your ass. And if you got a 1-point lead with 2 seconds left, you don't throw the ball under your own basket. You throw the ball all the way under the other team's basket, and that's it. Like, just throw it down there, and whoever touches it, throw it to your guy. If it's intercepted, it's intercepted, but you can't blindly throw it to Isaiah. He says, I never saw Bird. Well, because he wasn't there, but you led it to him and he ran. It was like an interception. So you got to read the play. And in poker, you're reading the guy, what he normally does, what his trends are. He bet a lot. And he didn't bluff. So he's got a hand when he bets normally. But again, you got to be careful on the bluff. The bluff is basically, I'm going to make a big bet and you don't want to lose that much. So you're going to fold, because you can't take the risk of calling me and losing. Now, if you understand it, he's got nothing. So therefore, that's the key to it. Anyway, so that's what we learn. And in baseball, the managers are just got their heads up their asses. Well, Johnny, give me 5 innings today, and then I'm going to bring in the bullpen, but I can't pitch a guy 2 innings. I see they pitch him like early on. Like if it's the third inning, they might pitch a guy 2 or 3 innings. Why don't you do that late in the game? Why don't you see the guy's hot? Boom, 9 pitches, 9 strikes, strikes out the side. Maybe you should put him in the next inning. Oh, he's too tired. Johnny's tired. Well, fuck Johnny then. Just he's pitching 2 innings. This is professional baseball. There's not enough good pitchers and certainly not enough good hitters for you to fucking around pitching a guy 1 inning and then go to another guy and think he's just as good. And it's not even just as good. It's more it's not even just as good. It's who's hot. The guy's hot. We all get hot. We all get cold. That's just the nature of life. We have good days and bad. If I was a pitcher, I couldn't strike out the side every game. I might strike out the side once, but then I might walk 3 guys the next game. So I'm on. And when you take me out, you don't know what the other guy's going to do. So he's going to do what he's going to come in and, he can't find the strike zone. How many times have we seen that? And the guy you just pulled found the strike zone. He only pitched to 3 guys. He should be in the next inning. So, wait, the guy's a lefty, though, and they got the righty. I got to pull him because lefties can't get righties out. Just ask Steve Carlton. And righties can't get ask Sandy Koufax how many lefties he got out. Oh, well, righties can't get righties out. Yeah, I asked Bob Gibson and Nolan Ryan and Tom Severs and Greg Maddox. Yeah, they couldn't get righties out. I mean, this is insanity what I'm hearing. All right, anyway, so that's baseball. Basketball, anything could happen. I can't even go over or under. I think there'll be a lot of choking today. I think Cleveland, my gut feeling is Cleveland wins a close one, like 109, 107. So it probably goes over, but it might not. The shooting tightens up. So it probably isn't under, actually. Probably both teams under 100. So it's probably an under, but I'm not betting it because normally in this type of game, they will choke. Both teams will choke. Somebody's going to win. I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland won, and I'd probably be more surprised if Detroit won after that Game 5 showing, but it's do or die. So let's see who's got the balls and who can play. And at this point, Detroit with no playoff experience and Cleveland, no big man. I'm going to leave it alone. All right. No movement in gold and silver today, obviously. I showed you Mark McGuire yesterday. Gold ended at, I don't know what gold ended. So gold ended at basically 76 or silver 76, gold 45.40. Again, these are such fake numbers. Part of this is because of countries selling paper gold to buy oil, to buy dollars, to buy oil. I don't even know if they need to buy dollars just to buy oil. Some of it is margin calls because the price keeps going. Nothing is real in this. 45.40 is nowhere close to the real gold price because they're doing it with 4 million tons of paper gold versus 200,000 tons of silver, of physical. So it should at least be 10 times higher. And the same with silver. They're doing 76 million tons of paper silver versus 1 million tons of. I don't know how you sell things. Oh, I got my Mantle card. Well, I'm going to sell 1,000 of them. You only got one card. Yeah, but apparently it doesn't matter. I don't actually need the Mantle card to sell it, which is what's happening here. Nobody has the gold and silver, and yet they're selling it, and so nobody has it. but they sell it anyway. So people are buying options in the right to buy gold. This is how stupid people are. They're buying the option. So here they shorted it at 2 in the morning. It's down to 45.60 and then down to 45.20. So you're shorting what? What are you shorting? You don't have the physical to short. What the fuck are you doing? Fortunately, China's doing all the buying, and it's very low. China's ecstatic as Russia is, and India about buying silver at 76 when they would have paid 100 for it or 110. So it's on bargain for them. So it really asks who's really behind it. Is it Russia and China wanting to buy it cheap, saying, "Hey, keep shorting it because it doesn't matter because you don't really need physical." J.P. Morgan and Chase and Bank of America are the culprits, and then Toronto Dominion and Italian Bank, whatever. They're the 8 billion banks, and they don't care. They don't have the silver and gold, and they're not worried about it when they short it. They don't need the money. We're all a bunch of idiots, and this is really the problem. So again, you've got to really not. You've got to just do one, get out of the dollar, and the only place you're going is the lifeboat, and the only lifeboat's gold and silver. So you're on the Titanic, it's sinking. You got to get off the boat or sink. You got to get out of the dollar or sink. You got to get out of the euro and the British pound and the Swiss franc and every other currency or sink. Now, China and I believe Russia have now backed their currency with gold. So now I know China is 1-to-1. So the yuan, really gold is the reserve currency, but China's more, the yuan isn't the reserve currency, but if it's backed by gold, it really means gold's the reserve currency, not the dollar. To play that game, it's the reserve currency is just bullshit. So let's see what videos are there. So I showed you Mark McGuire yesterday. There was a video. What did Lehman Brothers do? We saw the capitalism, the debt, and I was watching this Mark McGuire, which was the one about 10 days ago. Seems like he's coming on Tuesday or Wednesday or something, but I never get it. So I have to go to I got the subscription. So I go to the channel. Oh, he did a new video, but it didn't pop into my new videos for some reason. So he just talks about that China's gold back and what's happening in COMEX, basically. And that's when I yelled at him going, well, you keep saying this and this and this in COMEX, and yet we're still using the COMEX price. Why isn't there a physical price? So he finally talked about it. But like a Lehman Brothers, or you hear BlackRock and that, we give them money to invest for us, not me, because I invest in gold and silver. I don't invest in Lehman Brothers or Vanguard or any of these. I don't invest in them. I invest in myself. But if you're in BlackRock, BlackRock controls, $10 trillion. It's not their money, though. It's not like Vanguard has $10 trillion. People are putting it in pension funds, 401ks, your money at work, and BlackRock runs it for you. It's not their money. It's your money. And so if they're in an ETF, a Bitcoin ETF, it's not with their money. They're not actually taking their money. So even though they have a lot of shares and they're sitting on some boards they shouldn't be doing, conflict of interest, they are the ones that control your money. So don't get confused that it's their money doing it. Even this one who was running Tenneco, Apollo, they're doing it. It's not their money doing it. These venture capitalists and this all these investment firms, they're all bullshit. It's just people are stupid, so people don't know what to do, and we'll get into a 401k at work, we'll get into a mutual fund, and they control it, and you're just sitting there going, what the fuck? Right? That's what you're doing. And it's very frustrating. And these people are controlling a lot of money and a lot of stock that they shouldn't be. And it really goes back to your teacher. I think I showed you a little bit yesterday or the day before of who's controlling the school system, the Rockefellers, right? They're controlling what you learn in school. And it's not anything about gold and silver. And it's really not a lot about money. Why are they making curriculum? But they do. But why doesn't anybody know about gold and silver? Because they don't allow it to be taught, because everybody would buy gold and silver. If I taught high school or college, every one of my students would run and buy gold and silver, because I would explain it. This is worthless. And I would say, oh, by the way, this is worthless. These are both worthless. So what are you going to do? Hold on to worthless money or Rumpelstiltskin it into gold and silver, right? And when you explain it like the Titanic, and I like it because people can relate to it, so that you understand what I'm saying. And if you print the dollar, it's the Titanic, it's losing value. The Titanic, the water pouring in, it lost its value, right? And the answers go to a lifeboat. And in money, the dollar is losing value, as is the British pound and the euro, because they are printing too much of it, because they have all these. A lot of people are getting older and retiring, and that's really the key to it. So as they retire, you got to pay their pension, or in our case, Social Security. Where are you getting the money from? Oh, we're just going to print it. We're going to print it and pay, because if we don't pay, they're gonna hang us. There'll be a riot. So we got to pay Social Security because everybody pays into it, right? I want my money back, right? You stole my money. I want it back. Don't say I can't have it. Then government will fry itself. That'll never happen, right? So, but it's every country. England, France, Germany, they all have people. And what happened was in World War II, it was in the 40s. And when it ended, everybody went and had kids. They were just happy to be alive. They had big families. They had kids. And now I was born in 59, not in the 40s, but all those kids are now retirement age and they're not working anymore, but you got to pay their retirement. And that's the problem with the baby boomers. Not that it's a problem, but it shows you what it is. So you then have to go ahead and what you're going to do when Hulkamania runs wild on you. What are you going to do? How are you going to pay them? Well, we'll print money, because that's why we're not on the gold standard. We've made the dollars worthless. Or we could have been on the gold standard, which would not have allowed us to print more unless you raise the gold price, which I don't know why they didn't make it the gold price $5,000. Didn't make any sense. So now you have Rockefeller teaching the kids, let's not talk about gold or silver. Let's not teach inflation, which is money printing. Let's not teach that. We'll just say inflation's prices going up, if they even teach it. I know, and I had a Keynesian class in my undergrad, my first college. I didn't learn a damn thing, right? Now I'm a professor in Austrian economics. I didn't learn anything. I couldn't have told you one thing I learned in my Keynesian economics. Then we get to Austrian economics, and the first thing the guy does is rip the dollar, saying it's worthless. And I'm going, yeah, I can listen to this guy. So we know that it's worthless, because we know inflation is inflating the money supply. We know that the effect is that you need more dollars to buy things, provided the market will behave that way. So we go to what's a market? Just follow me on this. It's a big loop. What's a market? A market controls the prices. I want to buy this phone. It's a Samsung. I don't want to buy an Apple. I don't want to be controlled. I don't want them knowing everything I do. So I go to a Samsung. And then what's the price? This was like $150 phone. Fine, I'll pay for it. The market has agreed on the selling price. And that's really what you're looking at, is what you're selling it for, and will people pay for it? That's the market in a nutshell. You're putting eggs out for $3, people buy it. You put them out for $6, people don't buy it. The market is fickle, but just because you have inflation does not mean prices will go up. And just because prices go up does not mean it's inflation. As I said, if there's a shortage on oil and then the price goes up from the shortage, that's not inflation. If there's a demand for gold and silver and the price goes up and the supply stayed the same and the market says I'll pay more and more and more because of the demand, that's not inflation. Inflation is only the money printing. So, and it's only really when the market will allow it. You mark your stakes $20 a pound, and the market and I go, fuck, I'm not paying 20. The market's speaking. If the market says I'm not paying 20, guess what? The grocery guy has to put them on sale I've seen them on sale for like $13, $14 now, which is still a little high, but compared to 20, it's okay. And that's what they're doing. So they're sitting there going, well, I'm going to put it here. I want to raise the price, but the market won't allow it. And that's why you think inflation is prices, which it's not. And you think the market will allow it, which it won't. Now, most of it is competition and substitution. I don't need a New York strip for $20. I can buy hamburger for $7, or I can buy a roast at $9 a pound, or I can buy chicken at $2 a pound. So I can do many different things with that. And that's basically what it is what are my options? I don't need Oreo cookies. I can buy the Costco brand Oreo cookies or the Meyer brand Oreo cookies. And it tastes a little different, but what do I care? I just need to eat something. Not that you should eat cookies, but that's the example. It's the competition. Now in vegetables, we don't have it. Our competition is, well, broccoli's getting expensive. I'll buy cauliflower, but there's only usually one kind of cantaloupe and one kind of cauliflower, one kind of broccoli, one couple kinds of lettuce. You can buy red leaf or green leaf. I buy the red leaf or the romaine. But basically, in nuts, you see different brands, and in cereals, you see different brands. That's your competition. And if Cheerios get too expensive, I can buy the Meyer brand Cheerios. Not as good, but what do I care? I need to eat. We need to eat. And that's where competition comes in. And that's how the market works. That's why the U.S. is so successful. We have competition. And in countries like Russia, for most of it, they didn't, from 1917 to 1986, when Reagan blew it up, how much competition was there? It was state run. So it was the state's oil company and the state's car and the state's cornflakes. And that's what you did. And that's it. So it's very, very rough like that. That's why these communist, socialist governments never work. They're trying to we're going to sell you green cars, and that's it. And they get rid of the competition, and the state wants to run it. And that's my problem with this new Fed chairman everybody's all excited about. He thinks he can control the economy. Means he's a Keynesian. You can't. And he's going to try to control the market, will control the interest rates. You can't. Nobody can control it. It's just leave it to the market. The market will control it. We're the market. Like I said, if I go and the New York strip's 20 and I don't buy it, the price is going to come down or the guy's not going to sell any. And that's what happens. You start making the prices too high. Nobody's going to buy them. And the guy who's going to get hurt is the grocer, because he has to sell it. He already paid the butcher in Texas. He paid him whatever for the New York strips, let's say $14 a pound. Okay, well, I'm going to make profit. I'll sell it for 20, but I can't. Again, the market is here. If I want to sell New York strips up here, there's no market for it. I have to sell it at market, which is $13, $14 a pound. And if you don't like it, you go buy a porterhouse, or you buy a T-bone, or you buy hamburgers, or you buy roast, or you buy chicken, or you buy something else. I'll buy salmon. I'll buy something else. And that's how the market speaks. And if it's too expensive, we don't buy it. So prices are not going to go up because of inflation per se, if the market won't allow it. I know I saw this new restaurant by me here, and it's supposed to be steaks and seafood, but the steaks they sell two steaks. They're like $40 a pound. Yeah, I can go to Texas Roadhouse and get $25 steaks. Competition. Then they sell a lot of fish, and they're like $30 for salmon and whitefish. Well, I can go again to the grocery store, and at $13, $14 a pound, I can get salmon. So I can get 2 pounds for what he's selling me, and I doubt I'll get a pound. Well, how do you marinate it? You put some lemon on it, some French dressing on it, maybe some olive oil, salt and pepper, and you're done. Maybe some ginger, maybe some garlic, and you heat it up for 10 minutes and flip it over, and you're done. That's all you need. You can put it in the frying pan or in the oven, and that's it. That's what you do. And that's all you need to do. So why am I going to pay this guy $30 for maybe an 8-ounce serving when I can get 2 pounds for the $30 and have 3-4 meals of salmon with that? So again, does it make sense? Absolutely not. So I don't know who his market is. Like I said, I went to the eye doctor and they fixed the lenses, so they're pretty straight now. So they fixed them. And then I said, well, can I put these lenses in other frames? And she said, no, because these frames are unique and we don't have them anymore. So you got to put them in different frames. So you need different lenses for it. How much are the lenses? $275. I says, you're not competitive in the marketplace. Now, I wasn't being rude. I was being honest. You're too expensive, because I talked to 5 other places and I can get for $275 the lenses and the frames. And I said, I'm surprised you don't have it, but your weight, then it's another $250 for the frames. They're really expensive for their frames, and the lenses are way too expensive. And they've always been little con artists, and they've always been very expensive, which is why I don't normally go there. These are like 10 years old. It was like 2017, 2018 when I got these. I can still use them, but I don't. That's the thing. I can still read fine with these. My eyes haven't changed because I got off of sugar, right? And I lowered my blood pressure and I lowered my sugar. And that's what fucks up your eyes, is all the sugar. It fucks up your whole body, gives you the diabetics and gives you cancer, and everything is all caused by sugar, high fructose corn syrup. So that's the number one thing to avoid. So basically, I said, you're not competitive. I can go to 5 other places and get the lunges and the frames for $250. You want to charge me $275 for lunch, and I just want these in a different pair of glasses because these frames are a little fucked up. And she wouldn't do it, and she starts arguing with me. Go talk to the doctor. The doctor's retired. So again, you can't fight the market. I'm telling you, it's too expensive for the market. Now, you might have some idiots go in and pay $275 for lenses. That's their prerogative, but you're not getting me here. And I don't see a whole lot of people in your store right now. You're very expensive. There is massive money printing going on. So what's happening in the economy, as you print the money loses value. That's a fact. Will the prices go up? Maybe. They might go down. How can they go down with inflation? Because people can't afford things. If gas is $4.50 a gallon where it used to be $2.50, that's $2 a gallon taken out of their pocket, because they got to get to work and they got to get to the grocery store and they got to get to the gym if they're going to the golf course or going to grocery shopping. So they need gas in their car. Well, if you need gas in your car, you're obviously going to that takes money away from something else. So instead of $30 to fill your tank, it's $50. That's $20 coming out. That means I can't afford the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip, Eddie Murphy. I can't afford the Oreos. I'm going to get the the Meyer Oreos or the Costco Oreos. And, we're going to do without ice cream. We're going to do without Coke because it's too expensive. We'll just drink water, and we'll have a lot of cauliflower and broccoli. And that's how we're going to have to cut back. And that means prices have to come down, because I'm not going to buy the Oreos. Well, if they don't sell, the price comes down. The Oreos, let's say $6 a box, and they keep raising the prices. I don't know who the fuck's stupid enough to buy Oreos, but they keep going up. And now it's, oh, buy two for $5. So now it's really 250 a pack, but you got to buy two or three of them. Well, fuck that. I don't want them. I don't want the sugar and the high fructose corn syrup. So you end up where the market dictates, I can't afford it. I'm paying too much in gas. And therefore, if I can't afford it, I'm not going to buy it. If I don't buy it, they lower the price. That's why you see sales at the grocery store. I mean, I saw something and it was like, I bought the Diet Fago grapes. I love the grapes. It's little 20-ounce bottles and they're like 93 cents. But it was like, buy four of them for $3. So 75 cents each. So you can see, why buy four? Well, because we can't move them. They're too expensive. Like I said, you see Coke at $2.99 and it's always buy one, get one free, or get one 50% off. You always see the sales because they're too expensive. And the grocery store has to sell their inventory or they go out of business. So to prevent that, they don't. They try to raise their meat prices to offset, baked beans. Now, I haven't eaten baked beans in years. They were like, an 89-cent can was now like $2.29. What? $2.29 for baked beans? Are you kidding? So they're just sitting on the shelf. My tuna, the little can's about $2. The big can, the 9-ounce can's like $4.45. So what do I do? Okay, I'll buy one can instead of maybe three or four. Like I said, salmon, you wait till it's on sale. And that's how you shop. So you're not paying the higher prices. So if I can't sell it, let's say I want to sell my Mano card. Let's say I want to sell my Montana rookie, and it's $110,000 for PSA 10. Let's say my card grades PSA 10, which I'm hoping. But nobody's going to buy it. Well, if nobody will buy it for 110, what do I do? Well, I have to go somehow. So I'm going to sell it for 90 grand. I'm going to put it on sale because the person to buy 110 doesn't have the money. He's going to pay for 90. That's why part of me is waiting for the gold price. Then I can get paid in gold for it, which is what I want to do anyway. So if I sold it, and let's say I got 100,000, I'd run and go buy $100,000 worth of gold with it. I might leave 5,000 out for expenses. And that's the key to it. So that's what that's what the marketplace is. I can't sell it at the 110, so I sell it for 90. I lower the price to meet the market. The Camry for 35, no, you couldn't sell it. You got to go down to 25. And that's the key to it, is the price has to meet the market. You're always looking for the market. But right now with the money supply, the inflation, lowering the value of the money, not prices, then the prices come down because I have to spend more dollars to buy things and I can't. So actually prices will come down. It is not deflation. It's the market speaking. There's no such thing as deflation. Prices going down are prices going down, just like prices going up are not inflation. And yet everybody does it because everybody is learning from the Rockefellers. They don't want to teach it. So nobody knows. So one guy says inflation's prices going up and everybody follows. Then they say, oh, there's wage inflation. How the fuck can there be wage inflation? That's the stupidest thing I've ever. What do you mean wage inflation? Well, you get paid more. Well, that's not inflation. Now, it might be that the value of the dollar dropped, so it needs more dollars to buy me, but it's not inflation that I was making 30,000, I'm now making 60,000. That's not inflation. It might be because the dollar's worth less, you pay more, but it's not because my salary goes up. That's the market. That's not inflation. See, they get confused on what the market is and what the money printing is. They don't understand it. So we've talked Say's law. This is just general Austrian economics. Feel free to ask questions or add comments of things you don't understand maybe or want clarification. Say's law says that supply creates demand. And what that says is we go to work, we make money, and we go buy things. And we're the ones determining what we want to buy. So the market has to listen to what we want to buy. That's why the government can't control the market. That's communism, socialism, where the government says, I'm going to make green shirts or yellow shirts, and that's it. And that's the problem with it. They're not letting the market. If you just let the market run, and let people keep their money and stop taxing them, the economy will grow a hundredfold. That's what happened from 1776 to 1914, basically. The economy grew and grew and grew because of that fact. You let the market go, and some guys made trains and oil, Standard Oil, and the railroads, and then the gold rush, the 49ers. That's where it came from, 1849. In California, they were finding gold. How did they even know gold existed? How did they know how to get gold? And how did they know gold had a value? I mean, these are mysteries. How did you come up with an oven and a toaster? And how did you develop all this? This is really weird. Um, even clothes. We walk around naked. Oh, wait, let me put a shirt on and pants. What? What's that? I can see the caveman. What's a shirt and pants? Why would you not just be naked? Why would you worry about clothes? You wouldn't even know what they are. Um, so, in Say's law, the only thing with the Say's law is you need a medium of exchange that keeps its value. And that's where most people don't understand. If the money is perfect, the medium of exchange to use dollars to buy goods and to get paid and then buy goods and services is perfect, because you can't pay the guy in apples and oranges and tangerines and rocks and chickens. You need something neutral that people can use to buy things. So that's the problem with Bitcoin. It's not neutral. I can't use it to buy things. Yeah, the value might go up. So it's kind of like a Mantle card, Bitcoin. Only you'd rather have Mantle than the Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin is, well, it's going up in value. Yeah, but you can't use it. You have to sell it for dollars to use it. And yes, it's gone up, but that's just like buying, like I said, a collectible. Buying a Rolex at 20,000 is worth 50,000 now. That's a collectible. Yes, it will go up in value because it's limited and there's demand for it, as any other high quality watches or baseball cards. People think baseball cards are not worth anything until you see a PSA 10 Mantle and you go, yeah, it is worth a lot, isn't it? Because once it's graded and you know it's authentic and you know the supply is limited and you know the grade is it's great condition, then all of a sudden, yeah, it's worth something. But like a Bitcoin, you can't use the Bitcoin to buy things. You can't use the Mantle to really buy things. You can barter a Mantle, like we saw in the movie when the guy needed tires and he pulls out the what was that Chinese guy? I don't know, Yao Ming or something. So he did trade the Yao Ming card for 4 tires. So you can, if people recognize the value, they will trade you on that, which is, again, the idea of the medium exchange is use that to trade. It's really a trade issue, right? I'm going to trade you $5 for a cup of coffee or for an apple or whatever. But as you print the $5 more and more, as you print the euro, it loses value. And if it loses value, the $5 doesn't buy an apple anymore. It'll buy an orange. It's just, you need $10 to buy the apple. And that's what you don't want to do with the medium exchange, is ruin it. But we've determined that people will accept that. It's a trade. I will accept money for food or going to the grocery store, going to the restaurant, or for clothes, for glasses. I want to get an eye exam and it'd be $100. I'm going to trade $100 for an eye exam, because then I need to trade a couple $100 for glasses and frames. That's the trade. But you can't fuck the money. If you fuck the money, the medium of the exchange, if you fuck that, now, what used to cost me $2 now costs me $10, as we see in gas. Why did gas go up? Because they killed the supply, not because of inflation. So it was $2.50, is now $4.50 for gas. Well, wait, that takes money away from me going and buying new glasses, because I had to pay more for the gas to get to the eyeglass place. And so you don't get, so you buy cheaper glasses because that's what you can afford. Hence why I moved to this new apartment. It was $350 a month cheaper, which is a lot of money I can buy gold and silver with. Again, I'm playing a game of wait. I am waiting for gold and silver to finally hit 10,000, 1,000, and then I can sell a little bit. I only want to sell an ounce or two of gold just to get more money in. So my money, this is running out. This is running out, so I need to replace it, and I can easily sell an ounce of gold and get 5,000 of these back, right? And that's the key to it. So as I run out of dollars, I need to replenish. Now, if you're retiring, it's the same thing. You're going to use stocks. Most people are in stocks. There's the dividend stock, and then the growth stock, and that's how you're gonna retire. You're gonna have 500,000 in growth stocks and 200,000 in dividend stocks. Let's say you have 500,000. You'll put 200,000 in growth stocks and 300,000 in dividend stocks, and you're gonna you're gonna take the dividends to buy food and groceries and go on trips. Is the idea, except when the market crashes, and as soon as the market crashes, then what are you going to pull? Your growth stocks are way down, so your 200,000 is worth 20,000, and your dividend stocks, the price of the stock has gone down, and the dividends won't buy shit. That's the blind spot of these retirement planners, is when the dollar collapses, and then the stock collapses. And the government knows that everybody's in the stock market, including pension, life insurance, and everything, is in the stock market. So that's why they keep the stock market in. They know they'll all get thrown out of. Trump will be kicked out. He'll be sectioned 25, too stupid to be in office. And if the stock market when the stock market collapses, so he's pushing money in and keeping it up. So it's an artificial. It's really not worth 49,000. It's really worth 25,000. But they keep pushing it in, and everybody goes, "Oh, look how good the stock market's doing. Look, the economy's doing wonderful. The economy sucks. We're in a depression. We got $4.50 gases. Our dollar isn't worth anything. So fuck anything else that you see. Our dollar isn't worth anything. Nobody wants it. Nobody's buying treasuries. And bonds are the other thing. I was watching this bond video, and the guy says, well, it's the most secure thing is to have U.S. bonds because it's backed by the government. And the only way they can go out is if the government goes out or goes bankrupt. The government is bankrupt. We owe $40 trillion in debt that we have to pay. And he made a comment like, well, the government has to pay it. They can't default on it. And they're going to, how are they going to pay 40 trillion? And it's going to go up and up and up. It'll be 42, 43 by the end of the year because these idiots keep printing money, which they have to because it's a Ponzi scheme. So they have to print money to pay your Social Security, to pay the government employees, to pay the interest on the debt, to pay the defense contractors. I think it's about time you end the defense contractors. And since the mafia runs the banks, which runs the government, they're too stupid to understand their dollar is worthless, especially if you keep printing it. So there's big problems going on. I think George Soros is in charge of a lot of it, which is a nightmare because he's a Nazi, and you don't want a Nazi running your money. So we're fucked because our money is worthless, but nobody knows it but us. And so the medium of exchange won't work because you won't be able to take $20 and go to Chinese. It's going to be $40. Like I noticed that I was getting my General Chow and it was like $8, $9, and it went up to 12, and then it went up to 15. I told the lady, you go up to 20, you're not going to have anybody here because the market will not bear $20 for General Chow. Because at the end of the day, we need gas. That's why I don't go there anymore. I'm kind of done with it. And it was a lot, it was a half-hour drive there, and I couldn't eat there because it was carry-out only. So I found a Chinese restaurant that by Alyssa that I can just sit down, get my wonton soup, get my egg roll, get my General Chow or sweet and sour chicken, and there you go. So I can eat my Chinese there much cheaper, and I can sit down and eat it, which I want to. But I only go there when I am with Alyssa or I drop her off. It's by her house, so I do that. Otherwise, I'm not going to drive a half hour to go to it just to go eat there. I'm noticing a few Chinese restaurants around here. I might try them, but they're all fried, and I really don't eat fried chicken. I just want to eat regular. I want to eat wok chicken. That's why I cook my own chicken. So I get it, the breast or the thighs, and I get it, and then I put it in the oven or the frying pan, and I fry it in olive oil, and it tastes great. And I put my little peppers in it, and my mushrooms and my onions, and it's a feast. And my little garlic and my cayenne pepper and my Celtic salt, and I know I'm eating the healthiest meal of anybody around here is eating, and it tastes yummy, yummy. And I make 5, 6. You buy the family pack, so you make it, and you're eating it for 3 or 4 days. It's perfect. I have one hamburger left, which I'll eat for dinner, and my omelet. Anyway, so that's how the market works. That's why capitalism works. And what capitalism is that we can open up a store. We're free to do that. It's freedom. It's freedom in prices. So the government isn't price fixing. It's freedom in us opening up a store. We can open up a bakery and sell donuts and chocolate chip cookies. As long as it's cheap enough and we can make profit on it, we can do that. So that's why you have McDonald's and Wendy's and Burger King and all these restaurant choices. That's capitalism. It's free market where you can do, if you want to open up a shop and work for yourself, then you do it. And socialism and communism is the government will do it. And everybody loses in that because not only the quality goes down, the price goes up. And that's a big problem. So that's why if you have good countries, that's how the U.S. became the richest country, was capitalism. We allowed competition. Even though J.P. Morgan hates competition, the country needs competition. And that's how you grow. And that's kind of what China's doing, mostly capitalism with a little government taking kickbacks. I think Russia's starting to open up to that. You see it a lot in Europe. You see a lot of socialism where they take the money for the seniors and the Social Security and the pensions and all this. I don't know if there's price fixing going on, but I know Italy was much more expensive. But I was talking to my friend in the hot tub about Italy. He's from Italy. He says it's all mafia. If you want to do anything, there's no, you can't get an Uber in Italy because the mafia controls the taxis and they won't let Uber in. They don't want the competition. That's why things are more expensive in Italy than they are in maybe France or Spain or these other countries. I'm not sure about Germany. They seemed a little expensive when we went to Berlin versus going to Portugal and Spain and Amsterdam and even Vienna. I thought was a much cheaper, less expensive for food and stuff. So that's what free market capitalism is. You can open up, we can sell gold, we can sell glasses, we can sell phones, we can sell avocados. All we need is this capital to get in it. And that's what the banks do. The banks, there was one thing I was watching, and the guy says, well, all the billionaires, just total socialism, all the billionaires keep all the money and we run out of money. And so that's why we're poor. And it's like, no, the banks print money. There's not a limited amount of money that a billionaire has. So Warren Buffett has $20 billion doesn't mean I don't have any or you don't have any. We have based on our skill set. If we want to open up a cookie stand and sell cookies, we can make money on it. Then there's more money because the banks just print it. And that's the thing. So the banks print the money and then we have money. Out of thin air, they have money. Well, Howard, what if the banks keep printing money? That's how you got the inflation. Warren Buffett's money isn't really worth what it is. The $20 billion isn't worth $20 billion anymore because the dollar's collapsed. You've printed too much of it. There's a point of no return and you've printed too much, and that's what we've done. So you got to keep the medium exchange normal. That's why you need a gold-backed currency. So you can only print so much. And if you need to, you go to the bank and get gold for it. And then there's trust. And all you got to do is really raise the price of gold. If you need to print more money, make gold go from 3,000 to 6,000. Make it 10,000 an ounce. Then you can print more money. So the banks just print money out of thin air, as does the Federal Reserve just prints money out of thin air. And that's why you hold gold and silver, because you can't print it out of thin air. That's the beauty of gold and silver. It's there. It can't be printed. It can't be inflated. It can't lose its value. That's why gold's been around since, Moses and everything. They prayed to a golden calf. Well, they weren't really that far off, were they? I'd have probably been in line at the golden calf versus the 10 commandments. Were the 10 commandments in gold? No. And you can still have the 10 commandments and still have a golden calf. But it's just amazing how people have always gravitated to gold. Way back when, a golden calf. This is in Moses' time. Who the fuck knows what year that is? And yet they already knew about gold. So gold's not going away. It's the most popular, desired thing. It has value because it's limited. You got to dig it out of the ground. You got to refine it. I don't know how they refined it in Moses' time. Would they take it to Switzerland and Egon's there refining it for him? Anyway, so that's really the key. Austrian economics is about freedom. It's about competition, which benefits us. It keeps, if I raise my price, so me and Bobby and I, I'm running, well, let's go to the ice cream shop. I'm running an ice cream shop. Bobby's running an ice cream shop. Capitalism allows us to both compete and both open stores and both make money on it. But if Bobby makes his ice cream $10 a cone and I keep mine at $5, everybody's going to come to my store and not go to Bobby's. So Bobby, based on the competition, has to keep his price kind of even with me. So if I'm $5, he's $5. So that in self keeps the price down. And then I make a better ice cream than Bobby. So mine's a better quality and the same price. So Bobby then has to come up with a better quality or match my quality. And that's so the customer wins because he's getting a good price and good quality. We both are making money at $5 because our cost is $2, let's say. So we both make money. That's capitalism. We both can open up an ice cream store. We both can make money. The customer wins because we have to, if one has too high of a price, they'll if I'm $10 and Bobby's $5, they go shop at Bobby's. If Bobby's 10 and I'm $5, they shop at mine. So we got to kind of see what the market is bearing and keep our price at about $5. We don't have, it can be 5.25 to $5 or something. People, maybe he's got pictures of his days on the Mets and the Pirates, and he's got Barry Bonds' picture and Tom Brady's picture and Ric Flair's picture on the wall. Signed, congratulations, Bobby Bo, and I don't. So maybe he can use that to make his price a little bit more. Maybe he's $5.50, but they get to see Ric Flair and Tom Brady and Derek Jeter and those guys. So that's really what Austrian economics is all about. It starts with, is there a demand for ice cream? That's the real beginning. And we see people buying ice cream. People like ice cream. Okay, so we see there's a market for it. And then we see how much can we sell it for? And then we see what's our cost. So if our cost is $2.50 and we can sell it for $5 and there is a market for it, ding, ding, we join. And we're going to get paid with the medium of exchange, which is going to be monopoly money. So we're going to get paid in this because this is what the medium of exchange is right now. Even though it's fucked and it has no value, this is what we're going to get paid in. Now, of course, me and Bobby, being the smarty pantses that we are, we're going, well, we'll take, you can give us an ounce of silver for it, or, a tenth of it. Give us a mercury dime for the ice cream. Give us a quarter for the ice cream, whatever. Give me a slice of, of a ounce of silver. Give us a half ounce of silver for it. And we'll take that, right? But that's the key. Or what we do is after our week and we make $5,000 and he makes $5,000, we go to the store, we go buy gold and silver with it. And we leave a little bit out for future. Well, we need more cones. We need more ice cream. We might come out with more flavors, chocolate fudge and rainbow and Superman and pirate. He might come out with Pittsburgh Pirate, black and yellow ice cream. I might come out with Green Bay Packer gold, and then of course the Raider silver and black ice cream, which would be the most popular, of course, or the Steeler one, and that's what we would do, and then more people enter the market, going, well, shit, I can sell it for 550. I want to compete with Howard and Bobby, but that's Austrian economics. So what you got with JP Morgan is he doesn't want competition. He doesn't want substitution. He just we're going to keep that gold price down because we don't want to compete with gold because we'll lose. And we want everybody in the stock market because that's where we make our money. We steal everybody's money with commissions. Why is there commissions? And why can't we just buy the stock? Why do we need to pay a commission for it? We don't pay a commission when we go to Kroger's and buy hamburger. There's no commission. We pay $5 a pound and that's it. So you can see how everything comes together. Is there a market? Can we make profit? Are we able? We can go into business. That's how you grow an economy. And what we've got now is none of that. They're trying to eat up the competition. They're fucking with the oil price. They're fucking with the dollar. All these are very bad things. So we have less dollars because we got to pay more for oil. If we have gold, we want to sell maybe an ounce or two, but you're keeping that price at 4,500. That should be 10,000. Oh, well, that's because these other countries have to buy the oil and sell their paper gold and silver, which drives, by selling that, it drives, it drives the price up, which drives what we can spend down because we have less money to spend. So that's the thing with it. So you go out to eat, you got to be careful. I'm a bad tipper, but I'll explain why. Alyssa, I see you don't tip 20%. No, I tip about 10%. First of all, it depends on the waitress and the service. But secondly, that's money coming out of the pocket. So if I give the waitress $5 instead of 2.5, that's 2.5 less to give you, or that I can go spend other places. I don't want to spend it all on a waitress. She's just carrying the food out for me. Well, she works on tips. Well, that's her problem. If I was a waitress, I would ask for $20 an hour, and I would not want tips because people can't afford to tip me, or they don't, and I don't want to live on it. I just want to live on my $20 an hour, which is, if you worked at the grocery store, you wouldn't live on tips. Right? I worked at the grocery store. I made $10.37 an hour in 1977, 78. That's what I made, but I knew that's what I was going to make. So to be a waitress, you got to be crazy or work at a restaurant that you can get good tips on, like the higher end restaurants where it's $100 meal and they're going to tip you $20. Oh, okay. Well, that's different. But that's people with a lot of money who don't worry about, if I give $20 to the waitress, I still have plenty of money to do other things. Okay. That's a whole different animal. But that's what it is. So you've got the competition, you have the market, which determines how much you can sell things for and what is my cost. And as we inflate the money supply, the cost of all these businesses are going up. So what does that mean? Well, now it costs me more for my staff, and my ice cream and my cones cost me more. So it's not $2.50 and I sell for $5, it's now $5. Well, if I sell it for $5, I don't make any money. So I got to try to sell it for $7.50. But the market's $5. I can't sell it for $7.50. So I got to go out of business, because if my cost is $5 and my sales are $5, I don't make any money. That's the whole point of being in business. I close up. So I got to lay off people, and then I go out, and then people have less choices to come which ice cream place. And if me and Bobby both go out, where do I go buy ice cream from? And so you've killed the competition, and you've killed our profits, and you've laid off people. And that's what's happened. GM and Ford are the stupidest companies because they went to the electric car, spent billions of dollars on electric cars that nobody wants. There's no market for. So they missed the first rule. Is there a market? Harley did the same thing. they had the stupid idea of selling electric motorcycles. Well, people who drive Harley motorcycles do not want electric; they want gas. So you've killed so basically people were just going in to buy gas powered motorcycles, and you wasted billions of dollars fixing and trying to sell electric to no market. There was no market for electric, just like cars. There's no in the US, there's no market for electric cars. Maybe in Europe or China there is, because they're cheaper and the cities are closer. And, you just go to work and there's charging, maybe they had charging stations up. But I've heard horror stories where the charging stations were out for 3 days, and they got expensive and things like that. So you got to be very careful with that. Anyway, that's really what you have is products that there's no market for. That's called malinvestments. When you make a product that nobody wants, you're fucked. And that's what happens. And that usually happens because the interest rates are low, so it's cheap to borrow money. And so you go to borrow it, and what do I spend it on? I want to buy something, and you come up with these stupid ideas like AI, analytics, electric cars, electric motorcycles that nobody wants or needs. So you try to create a market. Well, electric cars will help the environment. What are you talking about? Well, if oil goes up, you'll have the electric will go up, and you don't have enough electricity, and there's not any charging stations. So I'm going to drive to Lake Michigan, and I'm gonna run out of battery power. And now what do? I'm in the middle of the woods in a car that won't work. Hey, if I just filled the car up at home, I could have drove all the way up north on a half tank of gas. So why do I want to use electric? You're putting something that there's no market for. There's no demand for it. We want electric cars. There's no market for it. And if there's no market for it, you can't sell it. You can't make something and then try to sell it. And that's what I feel AI is another one of these malinvestments, trying to sell AI as it's good when it isn't. It doesn't do anything. It's good. Who won the 1980 World Series? Okay, AI will pop it up. Well, all it's doing is a query. Okay, but that's not going to, I'm going to replace Howard. I don't need him as my senior finance guy. I'll replace him with a computer who can't think or doesn't have the gut instincts or the economic knowledge that Howard has. I can figure things out. I can problem solve. AI can't do that. They might try to sell that it can, but it can't. All it can do is dig up statistics. I was watching something on basketball, and it says, well, the biggest problem with AI is it doesn't measure emotion. So it just plainly goes, well, if you go on 4th and 1, you make it 51% of the time. But how about late in the fourth quarter where the game's on the line, or you're at the goal line, the game's on the line? I've never seen them make it at that point. They always get stopped because of the emotion of the game. And then they don't talk when you don't make it, the other team's emotion, like a turnover, and then they start, and now you've put the emotion in the other team, and you're fucked, and you're going to lose. And that's what AI can't measure, is the emotional and the passion, and even the that side of the game, being pissed off. You see that in baseball where two guys hit home runs and he hits the next batter. Oh, well, you can't do that. Or a walk's as good as a hit. Where are you out on drugs? Yeah, well, the Tigers, they get 5 walks and they lose 2-0. Had the guy hit the ball and got 2 doubles or a double and a single, then they score a run. They maybe win the game. But if you're just up there for a walk, as the Tigers are up there for walks and they get the pitch count up, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. Okay, maybe you're getting the 8th and 9th pitcher of the team. Maybe he's very good. Maybe your team can't hit. Maybe your team sucks. The hitting sucks, and you can't hit anyway. So what's the difference? So again, just because you put it down doesn't mean that there's a market for it, and doesn't mean it works. AI doesn't work, but they're not going to tell you that. They just want to sell it. Oh, I'm going to fire all my employees and have AI. You bunch of idiots. Do you think it works? You think you can get rid of your employees? Guess what? You're going to get rid of your company too. Your company is going to go away if you don't have employees. Because I know when I call and I get AI on the phone, like for a hotel, I hang up. I don't want to do business with them. Just like this bitch at the eyeglass place. She fixed my frames, but then she started fucking around with me. I don't want to do any business with that. This is what we've done. And for 20 years, she was a real smart ass with me. I don't want to do business with you. Are you that independent that you don't need customers? Good for you. There's a reason that the other guy sold his business. So good for you. Anyway, so that's kind of economics. It's kind of, it's freedom of people can go. One of the freedoms, you can be a finance, you can be an IT, you can fix cars, you can fix refrigerator, you can be an electrician, you can be a plumber. That's your choice, what you want to do. That's very good in Austrian. It doesn't work in communism. They kind of tell you what you're going to do. Then you have a market. What can I sell things? Is there a demand in the market? Not like electric cars. And then you figured out the price. You get your costs. Can you make money? Is my cost under my selling what the market will pay me? Then you have competition, which is good because then more people are selling it. McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's. Why is there 3 hamburger joints? If this was communist Russia, you'd have McDonald's and that would be it. And they'd be paying the government to go into business. But here we have McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's, and they all can compete. And who benefits? Us. Because if McDonald's makes their hamburgers $10 and Wendy's is $7, we're eating at Wendy's. It's no loyalty. It's a fucking burger, and it's not even real. It's all processed. So you got to be careful with that. And it's even hard. You can go to different grocery stores, but I don't find like meat. I can go to my meat store, which is an expensive grocery store, and I can go to Meijer's or Walmart's, and I don't see much difference in price in hamburger or chicken or stuff like that. Or maybe the quality of the chicken's not as good as their chicken. So that's really the key to it. So you look for that. Anyway, feel free to leave comments and questions. That's why I do it live. Very good to get your thoughts and what's bothering you or what you think. We know the dollar's worthless. We know gold and silver are the only lifeboats. We know the way the economy works. We know what inflation is, money printing, not necessarily higher prices. Higher prices means usually there's no competition. And if you kill the competition, the prices will go up because they can. But so Oreos thinks there's no competition, and Coca-Cola thinks there's no competition. Well, I buy Squirt and I buy 7-Up, and I try to buy caffeine-free drinks. So I'm curious on this one issue. Bear with me. So the question is Coke Zero caffeine free? I don't know. I don't know what the zero means. I know it means no sugar, but what's the difference between that and Diet Coke? Is Coke Zero caffeine free? Standard Coca-Cola Zero Sugar contains caffeine. However, the company specifically produces a caffeine-free Coca-Cola Zero Sugar that offers the same zero sugar, zero calorie taste without any caffeine. That's what I think I got. You can easily locate and purchase the caffeine-free version using buy at Walmart, check local stock, official. So is there a standard Coca-Cola Zero Sugar contains caffeine, but there's a caffeine-free zero. So there's 2 zero things. So I don't know if I got the one with caffeine or not, because I thought about that at 2 a.m. when I can't go to sleep. And I said I did have one of those from the gas station. I bought a pizza because I just lost my mind, and then I went and got like one of those, caffeine or Coke Zero to drink with it. And I forgot that this whole move in this fridge and all this got my mind going. And I just forgot that I don't want the caffeine. That's why I order water a lot. When I go to a restaurant, I order water, not to be like anything. It's sugar free and it's caffeine free, and I can't find anything on the menu that is sugar free and caffeine free. So if I get a Diet Coke, I'm getting caffeine, and I don't like the cat. And what's in the Diet Coke is a lot of chemicals. So the really only answer would be to get a 7 Up or a Diet 7 Up, Squirt, or Verner, which they never carry. They carry the Coke brands, which are all sugar and caffeine, or there's a Diet Coke, but that's going to be caffeine. So you really can't drink the drinks in that and coffee and tea unless you get decaf. So that's why I get water with a lemon, and I should bring my own cinnamon in. But that's the key to it. So yeah, I should bring. Well, they normally give me a lemon, so I can normally put the lemon in the water. But again, I need the cinnamon. So that's probably why I was up, because I don't have caffeine often. But when I do, it was 2 a.m. and I couldn't even go to sleep. And then what happens is I started watching the new Berlin is on. Like if you're a Money Heist guy on Netflix, and then they took Berlin, they made his first one was a couple years ago. I thought it was terrible. Not enough planning of the thing. It was too much. It was too much. There's so much romance, but there wasn't a lot of the the thing in Money Heist. It was a lot of the Money Heist, and that's why you like the professor. He figured things out, and with the stealing the gold or stealing printing euros was very, very clever. And then how they got away with it. I thought that Berlin was terrible. This Berlin I've watched, but that's the problem. When I'll put on Madoff and just go to sleep with it. I don't really care. I just want something stupid on Netflix, so there's no commercials I got to worry about. But when I get to like Berlin, I want to watch the episode. So it's let's watch the next episode. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're not closing your eyes going to sleep. You're watching the episode. So finally, I think about 3 o'clock, I finally got to sleep. I'm very tired, and I'll go to the pool about 3 o'clock today. The PGA's on, and there's apparently 25 guys tied for the lead. I think I've heard of Rory, and that's it. And Jason Day I like, but he's fallen out. I hate Scott Scheffler. Scotty Pippen? I hate that. So I don't like him. And so I do like Rory, so I hope he wins, but we'll see. The leader was some guy that didn't have a win. How the fuck is he in a major tournament without a win? What is that? You got to win to be in a major tournament. At least you did in bowling, so I don't understand that. So coming up this week, I don't know, gold and silver. You've got to separate it. There's paper, there's physical, and in the paper market, it's manipulated by these options. So you really don't even look at that price, but we do because in case we want to buy or sell, that's the price we have to look at. And then there's the physical market. You can't print it. It's limited. There's 220,000 tons of gold. That's it. And the only way to get more is they got to dig it out of the ground, but everything's dug out of the ground. They've been digging it as the price is going up. They're digging. There's nothing left. So they maybe look for another gold mine, but that'll take 10 years with all the government rigmarole to get it going. So with that said, you've got that. And so supply isn't going anywhere. But even if you did add 2,000 or 3,000 tons, you got demand that's killing it. So China is buying everything. And I assume Russia is too. And India, I know, buys. Saudi and Dubai are buying. Brazil. They're all buying as much as they can because they know that's the golden goose, right? That is the golden goose. So that's what they want to buy. And so you don't have to worry about demand. There's plenty of demand. So you're not going to see sales on gold and silver. And that's why when we see it drop, we it's usually a margin call, or in this case, Turkey's selling their gold options because they needed to buy oil. So in order to get the oil, they needed money, and in order to get money, they sold. Just as we would do, just as people who retire here are going to sell their stocks, their dividend stocks, to get money to pay for food and rent and whatever else they're going to pay for. So that's really the key to it. So that's what's happening. That's why it's been going down a little bit, but it's only a very little bit. In the long run, gold and silver run to the moon. It's the Titanic, and you need the lifeboat. And as Mark McGuire said, I think, or Egon, you don't buy the insurance after the house burns down. You buy the insurance now. So you got 200 grand in the bank or 300 grand in stocks. You you buy gold with it now. You don't wait till the dollar collapses and then you're like, oh shit, I got $300,000. It's worthless. So you get out of it now. You buy the gold and silver now, physical. Hold it in your own possession. Get a safe place for it, whatever. But do not put it in the bank. Do not put it in the safety deposit box. Do not do not buy and do not sell it. It's not to buy and it went up from 2,000 to 5,000. I'm going to sell it. No, 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 no. Because if you sell it, you get back into dollars, and you don't want to be in dollars. So you sell it to stay out of dollars, and that's the key for it. So that's what we're looking to do. So this week, it's all a crapshoot if COMEX goes up, but I think what you'll find is the actual physical is going up. People were paying 5,500 for it, so we know that's a mark. We know it's supposed to go up to 8 to 10,000, so that's it. So they're pushing it down as the U.S. is broke. The U.S. has no money because the money they have has no value. So therefore, they need a new medium of exchange that's actually worth something. And they won't say it because they don't want to get elected. They'll all get expelled from office. And what can Trump do if he can't be president and all this bullshit? So hopefully these wars end. Russia's killed Ukraine, but now NATO's getting involved because they want to keep Russia spending money on military, but they buy a bunch of cheap drones. And then you have Iran, you're killing the oil price. So there's no value there. It's Israel wants to destroy Iran. It ain't going to happen. Iran's huge. You can't beat it in a war. Now you could, yes, nuke it to death, but then they'll nuke you and nobody wins a nuclear war. So I don't know. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on all that. So again, your plays, we're taking Detroit, but we're not betting it. It's just they're at home. I don't know. It's them and Cleveland both kind of suck. The Knicks, it's going to be the Knicks and probably Oklahoma in the finals. We'll see. And in baseball, 3-unit play, Philadelphia under 7. Yeah, Philadelphia under 7. The Dodgers, 3 units. St. Louis, 3 units. And then your 2-unit plays, Miami over 7, Atlanta over 8.5, the Yankees over 8.5, Cincinnati over 8.5, Toronto, the White Sox over 9, and the 49ers over 9.5, and Seattle to win. I know a lot of games, but just like yesterday, it's still 516. We made plus 4 units. So we play a lot of games, but we still made 4 units on it. And, sometimes they've taken the favorite. Sometimes they've taken it up. But then, like Texas minus 140. Well, you still won 100 for your 140, even though it cost you 140. You didn't lose it. You won 100. And that's the whole point of it. The Yankees over 8.5. I think it's even money, isn't it? So anyway, that's where we go from there. I don't know how they do the totals, if they're 11 to 10, like in football or not. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Are you free this weekend? Now, I don't know who this is. I don't recognize the number. Like, what the fuck? I'm going to play her all around and say, sure. Anyway, that's what's going on. So have a great Sunday. Enjoy. The PGA's on. It should be on right now. Go enjoy that. I think it was Mother's Day last weekend. Father's Day is coming in June, and the U.S. Open's coming in June, the golf. And all you can just be happy you're in gold and silver. Don't worry about the price. You're not there to sell. You didn't buy 10 ounces at 2,000 to sell at 5 anyway. You bought it to get out of dollars. You're Rumpelstiltskin out of dollars into gold and silver. Keep that. So if you understand that, you can sleep well at night. You know, there's nothing that's going to happen to gold and silver. It's just going to go up in the physical world, and you got to ignore the paper world. But we hope the paper goes up. So if we need to sell, I need to sell an ounce. I'm going to wait till $5,000, not at 4,500 if I can. Anyway, so that's what's going on. So have a great day. Enjoy. www.caesarking.com. Soon we'll go where baseball will be on the site. It'll be 25 a week to get the 2 and 3 unit. And if I have 4 or 5 unit plays, we'll be there. And that'll be it. So enjoy and have a good day. And that's it. So enjoy.